friends, this is Laura from Grounded Earth Yoga, and we are going to be talking this month in my online classes and my in-person classes about happy, healthy hips. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about hips. So we're going to work this month on strengthening and stretching our hip muscles. Now our hips have three types of movements because our hips are a ball and socket joint. So we have the movement of hip flexion and extension. So when the knee is higher than the hip, that's hip flexion. When we drop our foot back in the chair and we sweep our heel back and we squeeze our glutes and hamstrings, that's hip extension. This is all about sitting in the chair. We're going to do seated motions, then standing motions. So that is one dynamic motion of the hips. Second one is abduction and adduction. So when we step the knee out from midline, it's abduction. When we slide it back into center and squeeze inner thighs, that's adduction, adduction. So inner thighs contracting on adduction, outer hip contracting on abduction. So that's our second movement. Third movement is internal and external rotation. So when the knee turns away from midline and turns outward, that's external rotation of the hips. We can feel that when we turn the knee out and slide it open. And then internal rotation is when we turn the knee in, slide the knee back towards midline. So that is internal rotation. So those are the three motions of our hips that we can do while we're sitting in a chair. So now while standing and holding onto a chair for balance, let's explore those same hip motions. We have flexion and extension. So flexion is when the knee draws up, we contract hip flexors, so the muscles in the upper thighs up into the front of the hip. Hip extension, however, is when we have our legs at midline and one leg steps back away from midline. So there's a stretch in the hip flexors, there's contraction in the glutes and the hamstrings. So that's hip flexion, hip extension. Now we're doing our abduction and adduction. When we move the leg out from midline, abduction, drawing it back into center, kind of moving it like we're moving through mud against resistance. We have contraction of inner thighs, adduction. And then the last motion is internal and external rotation. So when our knee turns out away from midline, external rotation, we're feeling stuff in the deep gluteal muscles, the deep six we call them. And then when the knee comes center, crosses midline inward, that's some contraction at the front and outside of the hip, and that is internal rotation. Okay, so let's look at three different things we can do in a chair to work each of these muscle groups. So first, we could do chair pose in a chair. Chair pose in a chair is great for your hip extensors, your butt and hamstrings, and your hip flexors, the front of the hip. So in chair pose in a chair, we come to the edge of our chair, we place the feet underneath the knees or a little bit behind. We bring our weight into our heels, not the toes, and then we hinge forward. And as we hinge forward, we squeeze everything in the back body. So glutes, hamstrings, thighs all contract strongly. We pull our armpits down towards our waist, lift the arms up, and we lean forward and we engage everything in the lower body as if we're going to sail right out of our chair, but we hold, and then we relax the muscles back down and release everything. So let's do that again a few times. So on the inhale, lengthen the spine. And on the exhale, engage the lower body, pull the armpits down towards the waist, lean forward, squeeze glutes, hamstrings, thighs, and then relax back to center. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, sweep and hold. Chair pose in a chair, engaging everything in the lower body, weight in the heels. And then relaxing back to center. Second motion is we can engage the outer hips by coming to the edge of the chair, opening the knees out wide, grabbing some yoga blocks, bringing those down to in between our hands, so resting the hands on yoga blocks. Now we can turn the toes out so that the toes and knees are in line, and we can rest here in this hinge, feeling a lot of engagement in the outer hips, feeling a stretch in the inner thighs. And then if you want to amplify this practice, you can actually come up with the hands on the thighs, and we can take some gentle hinges. So hinging forward with a flat back, rising back up to sit, keeping the knees drawing open, the toes and knees in line, hinging forward with a flat back, drawing the armpits down towards the waist, drawing back up to center, squeezing glutes on the way up. So hinging forward and drawing back up to sit, and then bringing the legs back to center. Another great practice, and this is a good inner thigh strengthener, is eagle pose in a chair. In eagle pose in a chair, you're either going to stack one knee on top of the other, and if you can wrap the foot of the stacked leg on top behind the other. That's a little more difficult, not accessible for everyone. It's not very important. When you cross the knee on top of the other knee, you're squeezing the inner thighs, and that's the important thing. So now we're strengthening, contracting inner thighs. We're sitting upright with a long spine. If you like an eagle pose, you can add the arms by opening the arms out to the side, crossing right arm over left arm, making an X with the arms, and then bringing the hands up, bending at the elbows, bringing the hands up towards the face or towards each other, and we're squeezing chest, squeezing especially inner thighs. Opening the arms away, unlocking, unstacking the knees, and switching sides. So the other knee now on top, arms open, switching arms forever, which one is on bottom, the opposite one that you used before. So crossing, making your X, bending the hands up towards the face, just palms can be facing you or hands can come together. Squeezing inner thighs and breathing and relaxing, unwinding. So those are strengtheners for the outer hip and inner thighs. And then in our last motion, we have internal and external rotation. So what we're going to do to build strength here is let the foot come out, turn the knee out to the side. So the knee is bent. And then what we're going to do is on the inhale, sweep the leg open while the knee stays pointing out to the side. Then we're going to turn the knee in towards center and slide the leg back in. So we're drawing little figure eights with the toes. We inhale, sweep out, turn the knee, begin the exhale, begin the sweep in. Always have to do the knee position first before we start breathing or before we start moving. So turn the knee, then begin exhale and slide back to center and switch sides. Same thing. The knee drops open and out to the side. We inhale, sweep. The knee drops in. We sweep back to center. So inhale, out, exhale, in. Turning the knee out, then inhale, sweep. Turning the knee in, exhale, sweep. And then relax back to center. So those are 3 quick little exercises we can do seating in a chair, starting to build up hip strength. We're working on stretch as well. And that's going to be what we're going to focus on this month, is getting those hips nice and strong. So thank you very much for watching. I will see you again soon.